Look, this is the moment we've been waiting for. The most controversial phone of 2025. Finally at a price that just makes sense. I'm talking about the Alcatel V3 Ultra with its 108 megapixel camera. Fantastic display. I'm talking about the Nothing Phone 3, and for any one of you who bought this at like 70,000-80,000 rupees, my condolences, because this was recently available a few days back at 35k on Flipkart, not Amazon, and that's a discount of 45,000 rupees, making this the biggest deal of 2025. Now, this crazy deal was only there for a bit, but I've seen this go at 49k, 50k a lot of the time. In fact, right now at the time of shooting this video, this is at 50k, and that makes me think that during the Big Billion Days sale, this might get closer to that 35k mark, and that begs the big question. Should you buy this at 50k? Should you buy this eyes closed at 35k? What about the heating issues? What about the cameras? How do they compare? What about the competition? You know what? Hit that subscribe button if this made you more happy than this. And time to find out. So starting off with the good vibes, what's actually great at 50k, and it has to be this design. Now, wait a minute, I'm not saying this design is good. All I'm saying is it's polarizing, but it's unique. It's something that I can guarantee you won't find in any other phone at this price. So yes, it has the asymmetrical 3 camera setup. There's actually a red LED that blinks when you record a video. That's a cool touch. And this has a dot matrix display that can be controlled with the capacitive button right here. And I'll be honest, realistically, you'll only use it for time and notifications, maybe a little bit of the call effects, and very least for features like stopwatch or level or viewfinder for selfies or the different games here like spin the bottle. You get the idea. Other than that, the transparent design with these elements does make the phone stand out. Sea of phones that kind of look the same. Now, another unique thing about this phone is the top-notch software experience. Nothing OS is just fantastic. No matter what anyone says, absolutely no bloatware. It's got the nothing minimal modern design, great customization features, useful AI features with the essential space and the essential key, the haptics all along the UI, or even when using something like the capacitive button on the back, it's brilliant. And this will get 5 years of OS updates. Enough of the good vibes. There are some corners cut here and there. Yes, it has a premium aluminum frame, which feels premium. There's Gorilla Glass Victus on the back, very good, but only 7i on the front. The optical fingerprint scan does the job well, but there's no ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, so there goes your 200 milliseconds. The USB port is 2.0 compared to faster ones at this price, and this has a 5500 mAh silicon carbon battery, which feels small considering it's silicon carbon, and this phone feels wider than most phones, and the weight and the thickness is still on the higher side. This is a big phone, and you can see the size difference versus, say, the X200 FE. And as for the battery life, we got around 7 hours of screen time on normal, moderate usage, and 5.5 hours on heavy usage. So the battery life is not extraordinary, not bad, kind of in the middle. Now, this does not come with a charger in the box, but a 65-watt GAN charger fully charges the phone in less than an hour. Another corner cut is no LTPO. It's an LTPS display, so the screen does not go to 1 Hz or even 10 Hz. And yeah, LTPO would have been better for battery, but time for the good vibes again. Apart from the LTPS panel, this display is actually really good. And the bezels are narrow and symmetrical all around. Display quality is great. Colors are poppy, highlights are controlled, and the details in the shadows are good too. Now, there's no HDR in Netflix, probably because it's not pre-installed, but there is HDR support in YouTube. And overall, content looks great on the screen, and it's also pretty bright for outdoor usage. Even the stereo speakers are fantastic, very loud, sound full, and you'll enjoy listening to music or even watching movies. And overall, this phone is pretty feature-packed. It was supposed to be their flagship after all. It's got NFC with tap and pay support. There's a dual SIM slot, but you also get support for eSIM as well. There's Bluetooth 6, Wi-Fi 7, cellular reception, and calls have been great. You also get the IP68 rating for water and dust resistance. No 69, but still great. This also has wireless charging support, so like I said, packed. Now, ever since the Nothing Phone 3 launch, people have been talking about the simply lovely pricing, but also about some heating issues, the cameras being a little underwhelming. So what's exactly the truth? Let's take it one by one. So this has a Snapdragon 8S Gen 4, which even under 50k wouldn't be the most powerful considering the 13S with 8 Elite, but it's good, it's capable, and I like that there's 12GB RAM, 256GB UFS 4 storage in the base variant. And when it comes to benchmarks, they are at par with phones like the Neo 10 or Poco F7, which have the same Snapdragon 8S Gen 4, and also the OnePlus 13R, which has the 8 Gen 3. Now in 3D Mark, the stability is okayish, but we found no throttling in the CPU throttling test. And Daryl from our team with this lovely hair has been testing this as his daily driver, and the performance has been solid. There's no lag or jitters in day-to-day performance. Nothing OS is clearly well optimized, and even in terms of gaming, this has been fantastic. We played Genshin in the highest settings for half an hour and it performed very well. The average FPS of 59 is very good. Now Genshin is an intensive game, you all know that, and the device does tend to warm up. I mean, it reached around 43 degrees, the aluminium frame got warm, but the device wasn't uncomfortable to hold or anything, and we've seen this warmness in most powerful phones. Now in something like BGMI, you get 120 FPS support, and the average FPS in TDM was around 119, which is again very good, and even in a classic match, it was around 118, so again solid performance and didn't encounter any major lags or stutters while gaming. And after 30 minutes of BGMI, these were the temperatures, so again, nothing crazy. And maybe the performance has gotten better with probably updates, but we found the performance here to be pretty solid, no issues. Then there's the cameras, which were clearly underwhelming at 70-80K, but what about 30-40K? Now before we go ahead with the camera department, I'd like to put on a very serious disclaimer. All the photos that you see in this video were clicked exclusively by the Sillycorns team and the Sillycorns team only. Moving on. Now Nothing Phone 3 backs in all 15 megapixel cameras, be it primary, ultra wide or the telephoto lens. Even the selfie camera is 50 megapixel. Now I know the telephoto camera on the Nothing Phone 3 has been slightly controversial because the budget 3A Pro has a larger sensor telephoto camera. I mean, nothing. But numbers aside, when you look at the Nothing Phone 3 camera from a 40-50K perspective, the performance seems good. For example, check out this sunset shot or this one where a lot of phones struggle. It's a challenging situation, but the Nothing Phone 3 did very well. In fact, we've been testing the cameras on the Nothing Phone 3 versus the Galaxy S24 and the Vivo X200 FE, and what we've found is the Nothing Phone 3 and the Vivo X200 FE are very close, very neck to neck, while the S24 kind of lags behind. I mean, here are some comparison shots of the Nothing Phone 3 versus the X200 FE, and what you'll notice is the Nothing Phone 3 clicks very good, balanced and consistent shots no matter what the situation. The X200 FE does beat it at times in terms of details, but the Phone 3 has the better colors, natural yet nice, you get it. Even in low light situations, it does a good job at capturing details while maintaining colors. Even if you're capturing human subjects, it doesn't mess up the skin tones or details. I mean, don't get me wrong, the X200 FE is good too, but when it comes to portraits and ultra wide or even selfies, the Phone 3 is just better. I mean, look at the portrait mode shots. The Phone 3's edge detection and skin tones are good, and it doesn't brighten the face or pull any weird skin lightening that often happens with Vivo. In ultra wide, the Nothing Phone 3's 50 megapixel is clearly more superior compared to the 8 megapixel camera on the X200 FE, and even in terms of selfies, the Phone 3 is just very good, better all-rounded photos at this price. Now the X200 FE takes back some of that advantage by taking better zoom shots, it's just more detailed, and in 3x shots, the colors are also better on the Vivo. Even when you look at 6x or 10x shots, the X200 FE is better, but the Phone 3's telephoto lens has a minimum focus distance of 10 cm, so you get the tele macro capability, something the X200 FE or S24 or a lot of phones in this segment lack, and that means you can take some cool macro shots like these. The one area where the Phone 3's camera kind of lags behind is videos. Yes, this supports 4K 60 FPS, but the videos aren't as good as the X200 FE or even the S24. The stability, the colors, panning is smoother, it's all better on the S24, followed by the X200 FE, and finally the Phone 3. So overall, is this a good camera phone around 70K, 80K? Hell no. But at 50K or 40K, this is a reliable, very versatile set of cameras that does well in most situations. If you think you'll buy the Nothing Phone 3 in this upcoming sale and you get an opportunity to buy it at 35K or 40K, just close your eyes, go for it, just do, don't think. Don't think, just do. And if you're getting it at 50K, I'd still sort of recommend it, but do note that there are some good compact phones at this price, there are some more powerful phones too. But at this point, it's not just about the specs, it's about the nothingness, it's about the uniqueness, it's about the unique Nothing OS experience, the transparent look, all of which cannot be found in any phone at this price. So wait for the deal, grab it, because I have a gut feeling that the stocks will be fairly limited. So just go for it. And yeah, if you still have any more questions on the Nothing Phone 3, drop them down in the comment section below. I'll answer them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.